Evening, everyone, and welcome to another Red Devils Roundup on the Balls Out Podcast channel. I'm Nathan, as usual, back again, second day on the trot. Don't worry, they are feeding me, they are watering me. I have been allowed to leave the house today. It's all good. Back again for another show alongside Mark, Jay, and Stu. We have got Kai potentially join us at some point this evening, but he's a busy lad, so he'll be here when he gets here. If you're enjoying the channel, guys, please like and subscribe. If you're over on Twitter, get over here onto YouTube. We want to get your comments in. We want to get your questions in for the panel. We love hearing from you. And as the ticker is coming across at the bottom, we are looking for new faces. If you want to join the channel, please reach out to or slide into our DMs, and we will get back to you and we will get you on board. Absolutely. But
Just
let's
don't
go
slide into Mark's. You don't like anyone sliding into yours, do you, Mark?
Let's go straight to Mark. Mark, evening, mate. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, it's been a good weekend, so have to crack on with this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, decent result over the weekend. And we've got Jay back again after a little break. How you doing, Jay? You good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I had a short break from social media for family reasons and stuff like that, but I'm back and I'm better than ever, bro.
Yeah, good to have you back, mate. Really good to have you back. And of course, we've got the big man himself. We've got Stu Willie. How you doing, mate?
I am really good. The mighty Tipton Town won over the weekend, and I've realised when the mighty Tipton win, so did the mighty Manchester United. So maybe the lads have been watching us. Yeah, maybe the lads have popped over to Tipton on the Saturday before the match. They travelled. They said we're going to see proper footballers play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what? Yeah, I think there's a lot to. There's a lot to get into. There's a lot to get to grips with, and as a basket case as a club is, we're slowly but surely, and everybody seems to forget it, turning a slight corner of wins and results. So, yeah, I'm chuffed.
Evening, Jonathan. Evening, mate. Good to have you. Well, let's go straight into the game because we spoke about it. I did a not Red Devils. We did a talk of the league last night. Talked a little bit about the game, and the first half was woeful, disappointing, boring, dull, everything that you don't really want from a football match. The first half. So let's go straight into that, Mark. First half. Any thoughts on the first half itself?
Yeah, we needed quite a lot of drinks to get through that first half. It was, like you said, it was really no shining lights. But right now, I keep saying it, I'm happy to walk away with a 1-0 win. And we actually did get almost a goal off of a backside. That's the kind of luck we've had this season. A deflection, we weren't scoring any other way. And this time it's gone in. Yeah. What can we say about the game? It was tactical. I think that's what you normally say, isn't it? It was a good tactical game, both times counter-attacking, cancelling each other out. It's all bullshit. It was not fun to watch. It was not attacking football. I didn't enjoy the criticism of Rasmus.
Oh, okay.
I have played as a lone striker, and it's not easy when you've got a chance of two people battering you in the back. And I don't understand what is a foul and what isn't a foul now when you're getting hit from behind. Because if you do it in the box, it's a penalty. But if you do it on the halfway line, when he was getting smashed, I think at one point he was slammed into the ground and no foul given. So, and then people going, "No, he needs to hold on to the ball more." That's all I can take away from the game, which is quite bad, isn't it? Really. So, I don't know what Stu or Jay thought, but it was dark.
Well,
dark with a light at the end of the tunnel.
Jay, I don't know if you managed to watch the game, but let's just focus on the first half for a little bit. Like Mark said, it's very difficult to get anything out from that first half. But did you take anything from it?
Yeah, we didn't concede. I don't think our defence is in question, though, to be fair. I think our defence is probably one of the best. I wouldn't say the best in the Premier League, but currently it's one of the best. We seem compact, tight, composed as well. But yeah, I mean, Fulham's never an easy place to go. I've always said Fulham's one of the hardest places to go to. But I mean, yeah, that first half was nail biting. But it was good though. It was exciting as well because you always knew that there's more to come for the second half. So yeah, it wasn't boring per se, but it was just like an anxiety overload.
Yes. Well, same question to you, Stu. Did you take anything away from the first half? And on the back of what Mark was saying, obviously he didn't. He was saying that he didn't really like the criticism of Rasmus, and I've been quite critical of Rasmus this season. I'll be honest, but that first half really wasn't his finest 45 minutes, was it?
I mean, the first half was dull anyway, wasn't it? And the game, Mark's right, it was quite tactical, trading punches. The only player that really came out of the game with any credit was Sander Berg in the first half. I thought he controlled Fulham nicely. Lukic alongside him was quite decent. But their real danger man, which was Smith Rowe, we swallowed quite, really well. And once you swallow people like that, whether or not they had any luck, which they did with Iwobi and Robinson down the left, not so much Harry Wilson on the right. If you've not got that creativity in the middle, and we have that when Bruno doesn't create for us, it makes it a slightly easier game. It wasn't just about Rasmus Højlund, actually. And again, I'll agree with Mark here. I'm very critical of him. But I would imagine, Mark, when you were playing, you'd give as good as you get. So, if you kind of, when you evolve into it, because I'm a centre half, you see, Mark, so I know if I'm going to class you, I'm going to see what happens for the next 2, 3, 4 minutes. I'm going to see if you're going to come looking for me. You come looking for me, I know the type of game we're going to have, and then we'll settle into a nice physical battle. And you'll win some, and I'll win some, within that battle, because you can't win everything. The problem with Rasmus at the moment is, and your point is well made, but the problem with Rasmus at the moment, he's not looking for the battle. He's not looking around. He's not expecting Anderson to come in and take him at shoulder height, or he's not expecting a chin on the shoulder. He's not expecting a little dig in the back or anything of that nature. And I can't quite understand, 1.5 years at the club, if you look from a calendar perspective, why we're not achieving more with him, and why he's not learned how to be in that time. And I'm wondering, now I could be wrong here, whether he's a better, wider player, if that kind of makes sense. He's no good through the middle. It's a little bit like Mason Greenwood. Everybody used to tell me he's a straight number 9. Never in a million years was he a 9. He just hasn't got the instinct. And if you look at where we are at the moment, and he could argue, by the way, Højlund could argue that I'm not getting the delivery from Ahmad, I'm not getting the delivery from Garnacho. But Garnacho started to not even bother delivering into the box now, and he's looking for the cutback. If you notice, the last couple of games, he's getting the ball now, he's looking for that cutback. He's looking for that cutback because Højlund's out of the area. So when we do an analysis of him, and it's not just Højlund, you've got to occupy one or at least two of the centre halves at any given moment. You've got to be constantly occupying them, and he doesn't. And he just jogs around in that area. And I'm not saying he can't be a 9, but he's got a lot of work to do. And if you can't learn even a small amount from Big Rude, you got problems. So if I was him, I would take, if I was Amorim, I'd take him out of the equation for 4 to 5 weeks. I would take him out of the equation. I'd send him away on holiday, because we're not missing him, because he's not scoring and he's not adding to the game. So I would take him out and move him away on holiday for a week or two, come back and focus 100% on your movement in and around the box. That would be my suggestion.
Sorry, if I can quickly, just while you were saying that, I agree. He doesn't get the balls into him. Like he really doesn't. He doesn't get the crosses in or anything. And often when Garnacho does do that cutback, I often find he does look up, but it's only either Højlund or that's it in the box. It's like, you need more than one person to aim for. Like, so surely when you're going into them positions, surely it's natural for CAMs to sort of push up a bit and give him more options into the box for delivery, because that seems to be our problem. We don't whip it in. We don't score. We haven't got that Ruud van Nistelrooy, that Robin van Persie anymore.
Jay, can I add a caveat to that, mate? You're absolutely right. So if you go back to where was it? I'm just trying to think which game. Who have we played recently? Fulham. Who did we play before Fulham? My mind's gone. Rangers game. Now Bruno has that. Gets the cutback, has a strike. Do you remember? And it comes off proper. Do you remember? Xerxes was 4 yards away from where he should have been. If Xerxes had cut across proper, he would have drawn proper across. Bruno would have had a gaping hole. Chances are we would have scored from there. That's proper striker play. So you're actually your point there, Jay, is really well made. Really well made. So even if you do have the runners, and that particular time we have Bruno in, the strikers aren't stretching the two centre halves, so we're not getting that space in between. But there's a good point well made.
But on that, do you not think the reason Rasmus isn't? I know we all know he's got probably the most pace in the team. It's literally a second probably between him and Rashford on their day. Who's the quickest in the team? Mm-hmm. He's trying to link the play on the halfway line, put the ball in behind, because when you play as a lone striker, 9 times out of 10, it's a flick on, it's a ball round the corner, and you've got to go. You've got to get in the box, right? That's normally how you play as a lone striker. You hold the ball up or you play it round the corner. There's no sort of get the ball, turn and run at players. That's just not what happens anymore. You said earlier about getting battered in the back. Yeah, hold the ball. He should be feeling the player. And last season, we criticised him for looking for the fight rather than the ball. He was too happy to have a fight with the players. He was grappling all the time. So someone at the club, and I believe it probably was Ten Hag or Van Nistelrooy, would have told him, because it started at the beginning of the season, stop fighting for the ball, get yourself in the box, we will find you. But we all know that doesn't happen, even if he gets in the box. Like you said, he's got two defenders marking him. He makes a front post run most of the time. He never goes middle, he never goes back. Yet they can't slam the ball across the 6-yard box. It's always, as you said, a cutback, looking for a midfielder who isn't fit enough to get into the box late for that finish. Bruno's the only one who tends to get there, if it's our counter-attacking way. When we coach cutbacks or wide play, where's the most dangerous place you can put it across? Straight across the box, which actually he would get front post. We said Garnacho looks up. You don't need to look up. If you're looking up, means you're looking for someone on a cutback. There's no mix in our play. It becomes obvious. So as a defender, you lean on Rasmus, you push him towards that front post, you let him get in front of you, but you don't let him get to the ball. So now it has to be played back, and it's easy to counter us.
Really good points there. And look, you're absolutely right. There is only 2 ways to play as a lone striker. You hold it or you lay it off. He can't lay it off because we've got no runners coming close to him. They're way too wide for him. So that you're absolutely right about that. He probably has been told not to fight too much, but you can't play centre half, even if you were playing in a 2, without scrapping.
Yeah,
you've got to be a scrapper when you play up front. You look at and we've all agreed Haaland can't play ball outside of the penalty box, but he's a brute, isn't he? He'll just come in and he'll fucking charge you down. That's the type of thing we need from him. The other thing, the point that you make again is right. He's not making those runs. If he does, he's not being found. So has he decided to stop making those runs because he's not being found? And I get that because we haven't got the ability to find him in that critical area because we don't cross deep enough. Now, Mark, me and you have been on this channel loads of times, and I've always said your optimum crossing point is about 22 yards out to the right or to the left of the penalty area because you get the whip and the balance. That's your
but 6-yard box on the line, keeper can't come for it, and you just need a touch.
So yeah, your points are well made. Both points are really well made.
Yeah, really, really good points. Yeah, on the second half itself. I mean, I've got the stats here for the game itself. It wasn't as exciting as. Well, it wasn't exciting at all. So 3 shots on target for Fulham, 1 shot on target for United. Obviously, the goal itself probably didn't even go down as a shot on target because it was a huge deflection. But it doesn't matter. Goal's a goal. They had more shots on goal, 9-4. They were in control of the possession. They had more passes, touches. The only stats we really win in is obviously the scoreline, tackles and clearances. Going on that, Lissandro Martinez did not back down from Adama Traore. And that's impressive in any player situation. What is Martinez? 5'8", going up against a 6'2", built like a
I
brick
don't
shit
even
out.
think he's 5'8", is he?
Well, I don't know what he is. It was just off the top of my head.
The guy that don't go to the gym.
That Nate is going to be the best piece of play that we saw.
175 centimetres. What's that in normal?
5'10", roughly.
Oh, same height.
Roughly. Yeah, he's about the same height as me. I'm slightly taller, but not much. But the interesting thing about that, what I found brilliant about that is he tries to make the tackle and he bounces off him. And then did you see the close up when he got up? Yeah, he got up and he said, "What the fuck have I just did?" Where is it? Yeah. And Traore's like looking at him, going, "What was that?" like a little gnat's been at him. I mean, it's a wonderful piece of play.
Ugarte still lying on the floor from 2 seconds before.
Still dying, Ugarte. But I mean, the good thing about the good thing about what he did it for a reason, because he wanted to tell Traore, I don't give a fuck, mate. He put me at 200 miles an hour. I'm just going to fucking have a go at you, pal. And I like that. And I don't remember Traore doing anything after that, really. I think he had that one shot, but I don't know if it was before or after the tackle.
Well, they've got history as well, haven't they? Because in the previous game, Martinez came out after the match and said, "I'll send him back to the gym because I clearly had him in my pocket the entire match."
Yeah, I remember that.
Do you know the interesting thing about it? We were talking about this last night. The interesting thing about the goal that was disallowed, if it had been Traore that was defender, because of his bulk, Ahmad would have been on.
Yeah.
That's how tight it is. It's nuts, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. But I love that tackle. I'm glad you brought that up, Nath, because that was brilliant.
Yeah, Martinez had a really good match. Interestingly enough, though, they put. I mean, Ahmad was voted as the fans' favourite man of the match. Any thoughts on that, Jay?
Yeah, me personally, I think it should have gone. I think it should have.
But yeah, go on. Sorry.
No, go on. You call me. I do think it should have gone, Ahmed. I think he was solid. Never stopped running at them. Never give them a chance to sort of rest. Yes, we was on the back foot a lot of the time, but any time he could get forward, he would. And he was a threat. He always is a threat, and he's just a nuisance. He's that little. I mean, he's not big, he's not strong, but it's like, okay, he's there. You turn around and you turn back, and where's he gone? Sort of thing, And it's like he's constantly a headache for defenders. And I think he's fantastic. Honestly, I cannot praise him enough, Ahmed, this season.
Yeah, Mark, any thoughts on Ahmad being man of the match? Do you agree or disagree? You can disagree, I don't care.
Oh, 100% disagree, because I thought he was marked out of the game.
Okay.
I thought Robinson had him in his pocket. I think it was Robinson he was up against.
It was Robinson, yeah, and Iwobi.
He had him in his pocket. Like any game, there'd be chances you get the ball and you've made your space, you get away from him. And as the game stretches and we tire in the second half, and we've been singing Ahmed's praises the last couple of games. But I am worried that, hang on, if you man mark him, just constantly give him a little push, give him a little, right, I'm right here, I'm here. He's been told, obviously, not to track Robinson, because when Robinson went the other way, he was very slow to keep up with him. I actually thought it had to be a defender. The stats say it's a defender that's man of the match. You win it because we didn't concede. They had more shots, more possession. Ugarte is improving, but I would have said maybe Martinez should have won it not for the goal, but for the performance. stood up to Traore when he came on, and I think he's grown in confidence the last couple of games. And he's had a shocking start to the season, let's be honest, for what he's done in the others.
Martinez has, yeah, fucking hell, yeah, he's been woeful. Last 2 games, he started to. Well, actually, since Liverpool, he started to really play. But you're right, he's been fucking woeful. I've been really critical of him, and I think Martinez is great.
Yeah, De Ligt, probably was the man on match performance again. I think he's been solid for us. Apart from a few dodgy tackles, but what defender doesn't do that? Hey, Stu.
Fucking hell. You know you're talking to, exactly. Fucking hell. My gaffer always says to me, do you know how to tackle? Nah, do I? Fuck. I don't get it.
Two-footed. That's all that matters, isn't it?
Bringing up Ahmad, absolutely right. Do you know the interesting thing about Ahmad right now? We're all lauding him for the past few games, but he only comes to life with about 15, 20 minutes to go. He never comes alive prior to that. It's always the last 15. That's where he's got most of his goals recently, if you look at the tail end of the game. Because the defenders are a little bit slower, a bit sluggish. You're right about Robinson. Robinson was like, yes, this is great. I'll let you out in a minute, mate. I'll just keep you there for a bit and I'll let you out. But I think Robinson's one of the best left-backs in the Premier League anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
Got Dorgu. I'd have gone for Robinson or Kerkeres or Wright Nori. They'd have been my 3 choices.
I was saying both of them at the start of the season. Both of them. Kerkeres, Bournemouth was my first choice, or Robinson.
He's fucking elevated himself to a different level, Kerkeres.
A player that I find quite interesting that moved in the first place is Anderson to Fulham. Obviously, he came from Palace, had a really good last sort of 5 or 6 games for Palace. Looked like a really solid player. And it's interesting that not enough of the... No, he didn't want to leave Palace, but it surprised me more that he didn't leave for a bigger club because I thought he's solid and he's exciting to watch at times.
Yeah, great ball player. I work with a Palace fan, and he sings his did sing his praises. Gahey, I like. He's the mobile one, but Anderson is the brick wall, sprays the ball around. But yeah, he wanted to stay at Palace. He wanted a new contract. They didn't offer him the contract. And he's moved for barely any extra money.
No.
And you would say to a team of the same level? So Palace is a very weird club when it comes to transfers. Very weird club. Definitely another Junior Glazer fan, I would say, putting the money back in his own pocket. So,
coming out Parish.
Yeah.
You heard it here first on Red Devils Roundup. Mark Langridge does not like
Anderson. Anderson's a really good example, actually, of a player that didn't want to leave, but goes to a club and automatically feels at home. We've only ever had that recently with Matsari. Anderson's what you would call, and I know it's going to sound daft, but a professional footballer. Doesn't matter which pitch, anywhere in the world, he knows exactly what he's got to do.
And it probably comes down to most of the fact that he hasn't had to move.
Yeah, he's
his family life is already set in that part of London. He was probably sent between.
You look at Bassi last year, or Basie, whatever you want to call him, Basie. Fucking woeful. A terrible defender. Totally different player. Second half of the season, totally different player. And that's that partnership with Anderson. And then you've got Castagna and you've got Robinson. They've got a really solid back four with the addition of Sander Berge, Lukic, and Smith Rowe. It's a wonderful little setup they've got there. That's why they've won more games than lost.
And people didn't want Berge, and we were like, no, sign him.
But that's because they don't know football. Our fan base, I love our fan base, by the way, but they don't know all about football. I'm sorry, they don't. I know it's horrible. Sorry, Nate, but it's true. It's true. If you knew football and you understood the type of player that Sander Berge is, he would have fitted Manchester United perfectly.
And even more under this manager.
Yeah, and don't forget, he's gone in to replace Polinia, which I was desperate for to come to the club. And he's probably elevated Fulham better than what Polinia did. I think Polini's amazing, absolutely amazing player. But watching Berge, and that's what a proper central midfielder does. He gets it and he moves it, he gets it and he moves it, he gets it and he moves it. And he was, really, 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 really good. I thought, anyway.
If someone could just keep talking for a moment, I'm just trying to find the interviews from after the game. So,
I think Euro had a solid performance as well, actually. I think he done well.
Yeah, he came on. Did he start? No, he came on and he had like you say, 58th minute he came on. We should talk about Toby Collier as well, actually. Mark, we've actually spoken about Toby Collier a lot. Really good performance, and obviously after the game, sorry.
Can I ask the lads about Collier? Can I ask you both? What do you think about Collier? Yeah, think about it. Sorry, Nate, I don't want to cut over you, but I just
no, you're all right. Please do. I'm just looking for the interviews after the game, so go on.
What would you think of Collier? What did you think of his performance?
Oh, me, sorry.
Either way, either one of you, Collier. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I love him. I was brought up in a town called Collier, so as soon as I heard Toby Collier, I was like, oh, like sort of just coincidental, and I took a liking to him because he was brought up, like I was brought up in the name of the town of his name. Sorry. So yeah, I think he's mustard. I think he's going forward. He's a brilliant defender as well. I think he could possibly play centre back. I don't know if he could, but I think he could possibly train to be a centre back. But I mean, he's brilliant. He's like the new version of McTominay.
Oof.
That's how I see him.
A bad thing there, Jay.
Jay, that's a brave statement. But do you know? I don't know about centre half yet, and I'm not ruling that out. And I can kind of see your point. I like his movement. I think his brain is superb. Yeah. There's a couple of instances where he didn't have the ball, but yet he made a difference in the final third. So he was dragging players to him, which is what I quite like about him. And he got a defender's instinct, to be fair, because he was there at the right place, realised what was happening. You know, and look, I'll be honest with you, heading a ball off a line, we've all done it. It's the same as heading the ball in midfield or fucking.
Of course.
It's just heading the ball, isn't it? It's actually being in the right place at the right time that's the trick, and that's the key to it.
Yeah, and when you watch it in slow motion, that little side step away from what you don't step away from your post, and he did. And you could see his eyes don't come off the ball, and he even scoops down and just reads it straight onto his forehead.
And that's a great point. And I was about to make the point that if you saw everyone else had moved out 2 yards slightly, he didn't. And that's because he was focused perfectly on that ball. Really good piece. So would he have the attributes to play centre-half? Intelligence-wise, absolutely. But would he have the physicality or understand? Because reading the game is a bit different at the back, but I wouldn't rule it out. Sorry, Mark.
No, it's fine. So obviously, Jay, you're just saying about you liked his name. He's actually from the same town as me. So because obviously we signed him from Brighton, and he's a Worthing boy. Well, Worthing / Amring, which is basically all one place around us. He's box to box, old school box to box midfielder. I know a couple of kids that played with him at Brighton. And yeah, can he play at the back? Well, Stu hit it nail on the head. It's physicality. He's actually quite narrow in build. He's tall, narrow, but he's also young, so he's still filling out. Anyone knows about McTominay, he shot up from, I think, 16 to 18, almost a foot. So, and he said that himself. And it changed what kind of player he was. So Collier's still learning. But yeah, he is everything. Again, like an Ahmad, like everything like that, he's going to die for the shirt. He just, when sometimes you see a footballer and you just think, all he's going to do is run around and give you 100%. And what will be, will be.
Can I just say as well, I wasn't actually comparing him to McTominay. I was saying he could be like the new kind of McTominay player in that sense of it,
Yeah, I agree, but I don't know if you've seen the overhead clip currently going around this week of McTominay for Napoli, which is probably the wrong week to compare him to.
He's something else. Yeah, no, obviously I'm not going to compare him to McTominay because I didn't want to let him go, if I'm honest with you. I honestly thought we should have kept him.
No, agree. I always said if you took Rashford and McTominay could make one player, you would have a world beater.
So I've got a follow up. I've got a follow up question, then, lads.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Thursday, I think it's a given he plays Collier.
Yeah.
What about
Yep.
Sunday at Palace? What about Sunday? Is it
Starts.
Collier? Is it Collier over Mainu, or Mainu over Collier?
For Palace, I would say Mainu over Collier.
If he
Yeah,
goes that,
certainly. Yeah, it would be Mainu for Premier
Who do
League.
you drop? Because Bruno was playing in that centre midfield.
and that was a problem for us.
Nacho
That
was
a
obviously
big
playing.
problem for us. Yeah.
So it's more who do you drop? That's probably the only thing stopping him from being in the lineup on his performances.
Yeah. I mean, but if he plays well and continues to play well, how can you drop him? You know, when you've got senior players not doing their jobs.
You do. You've got to reward performances. If you're coming on 20 minutes, half an hour, and you're doing everything that's being asked, well, then the next is 45 minutes. Well, we don't make subs, do we, on the half time?
Well, it has been known with Amarin.
Yeah, I was going to say, but in general, that means for
yeah.
2, 3, 4 appearances doing that, then I've got to give you a start. I agree. Store Bucharest, start him, see how he gets on. But then that is a totally different ask to playing in the Premier League. So just for he says he has a good game there, doesn't mean he's going to have a great game against a hard-working Palace midfield, which I don't know. Him against Wheaton? Is it Wheaton? Who's a Palace?
Wharton.
Yeah, they could be a good match against each other. I think Collier will get into the box and get back and do everything we want from him. But Premier League and Europa League are very, very different competitions. And we have to win.
I agree with that. And the reason I asked that question is because I think he'll play 100% against Bucharest, because we're through now anyway, aren't we? We can't drop
guarantee.
We can't
drop out. Could you see him playing both of them?
Well, we could. I thought like Rangers can actually get us out and things like that if they win and we lose.
Oh, so we could go out, could we? Okay. Would I play both of them?
I mean, if we're true, you've got to get the youth sort of pumping, and I mean, I would.
Do you know? I wouldn't. Do you know what? I'd trial that then against Bucharest. I didn't realise. Sorry, Mark. I thought we were pretty much in.
So we are sitting on 15 points, and to drop out, we were Galatasaray are on 13. So that's the top 8.
So a draw. So we can get away with it.
Yeah.
It's a guarantee with 1 point. That's all.
Yeah. Okay.
But
so, actually, could you play Collier and Mainu at Bucharest? Yeah. Why not?
That's not a bad shout.
That's a good shout, Jay. Fair play, mate.
I mean, it just seems like a good idea. Sorry.
Yeah, no, don't apologise. Please don't. I've got the
I never apologise, Jay. Never.
He never does. Never apologise. So yeah, we've got the comments, and I asked Jonathan about this last night. So obviously, Ruben, he was obviously said happy birthday, and he says I'm not 40, I'm 50. After 2 months at Man United, it feels like I've just turned 50 instead of 40. So happy birthday, Ruben, if you're watching. I doubt it, but there you are. He was asked, obviously, will we see Marcus Rashford in United shirt again? And he said, I would put Vital before I put a player who does not give maximum every day, so I will not change in that department. If you don't know who Vital is, he is the 65-year-old goalkeeping coach. So that was his comments about that. It's always the same reason. Yeah, get him on. It's always the same reason. The reason is the training. The way I see what a footballer should do in training, in life, every day. If things don't change, I will not change. Stu, I'll come straight to you on that because it's an interesting comment. And actually, he started the interview, or he started his press conference by saying, I've noticed that every time I say something in these interviews, I regret it straight after. And then he said that. So it was quite an interesting. So what are your thoughts on that? I know we've spoken about Rashford with you, but that particular comment, what do you think?
Well, look, I think finally a manager thought, fuck it, I just don't care anymore. And I'm going to call Rashford out for what he is. There's obviously a huge problem with him. And he can't see that. And we were talking about it last night. And my question to everybody was, where's the Marcus Rashford that was feeding the kids 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Where's the Marcus Rashford that couldn't wait to get a football and play with his mates? Couldn't wait to go to Manchester United training after school. Didn't want to go to school because he wanted to play for Manchester United. Where has he gone? Surely you can't tell me that 100 grand a week extra in his pay package changed his lifestyle, because it wouldn't. You know, when you've got that amount of money, it just doesn't change your lifestyle.
No.
And somebody's got to call him out for who he is. But I've been quite vocal about it. I'd play the fucker.
Yeah, whether he likes it or not.
I'd put him front and centre, and I'd fucking play him. And I would, it's the Bucharest on Thursday. I'd make him captain, put him in front of the media, and then you're a Manchester United player. And then if you don't want to play, I'm going to tell everybody you refuse to play. I'm going to call you what you are right now, and I'm going to let the fans deal with you. That's what I'm going to do. But the biggest problem I've got is we've obviously got a bunch of pussies in our dressing room, because each and every one of those players should have been getting at Rashford, kicking him up the arse, and
Slap
telling
him,
and slap the shit out of him and talk to him about the problems that he's causing. Because there's zero tolerance in the Tipton Town dressing room, let alone fucking Old Trafford. Zero fucking tolerance.
Should we talk about these problems? Because
go on.
Rashford is obviously, it's out there now. It's been said, it's out there, and we now have a Rashford situation 1 year or 2 years on from the Sancho situation, right?
Yeah.
I was listening to Rio's podcast earlier, and he said the difference being Sancho went, hang on, no, I am trying. The manager might not think it's good enough for him, but I am trying. And he's come out and he made a statement. But Rashford has kept quiet, head down, like, well, don't really care. If you're a professional footballer, Stu, like you just said about issues in the dressing room, you come out and you address those issues. Unless every other player is going to go, he don't give a shit. He's just turning up, taking his money. Now, we see footage. Every European match, everyone gets invited. If you've got a media pass, you can go to the media days, right? Maybe we should get Stu along somehow, get him accredited to do that. But you see him laughing and joking, but I always see him with the same players.
Yeah.
Always the same players.
One squad.
Now, Sancho went. Luke Shaw is one of those players who's not in the team. McTominay's left. So this is it. This is basically, there is no way back to playing. Stu, I love your idea of sticking, throwing to the wolves. I totally agree with you, but those days are past, because
they are. Yeah, I know.
Amorim will be sacked for doing it on the spot, sort of thing. That's like a sackable offence, because you're blatantly trying not to win a game. You're trying to destroy a player who, as you just said,
defamation of character.
He's destroyed himself. The only good post he puts up is when there's a negative from the club now. So when the club are on him, he'll put up that picture of going to the hospital at Christmas when he first started getting
it's a good point you make there, actually, Mark, because as soon as that interview happened, immediately after that interview happened, Rashford sidestepped it on social media just by saying congratulations on the win, lads, and that was it. No picture, just a black screen with congratulations on the win.
So the whole Rashford thing it's done. One way or another, this is the equivalent of fuck off to the under-16s, the reserves, whatever you want to call it. You ain't playing for this team, which is what Mourinho done to Schweinsteiger. If you've ever heard that interview, Schweinsteiger was training with the 16s, which is actually in breach of contract. He could have just cancelled his contract for doing that, because that's how soft the contract is in this day and age. But we were just talking earlier about Rasmus. Rasmus is 21. Yeah?
Yeah.
We have Xerxes 22. They're the two strikers.
Yeah, I believe so.
Our next attacker or striker who is play through the middle is Marcus Rashford. You going to listen and take any notes from him? No. So then we've got Obi. Wheaton's gone out on loan. This is where we're failing, because they have no one to look up to. So we just signed Dorku today. He plays on the left. So if you were doing any drills where you're working left side, right side, he's going to be standing on the left and doing these drills with Marcus Rashford. This is not good. So at last, someone is getting rid of the bad eggs, one way or another. I love Casemiro, but he's got to be an issue now. Frozen out.
Roma, I think.
Yeah, whether that happens or whatever,
Yeah,
but he's got to be an issue.
Yeah.
But he's won everything, and he can be a bit more of an issue because he's got it back to back it up. You can't criticise me. Look what I've won, and you're going to go, yeah, but you're old. That's a different argument. But Rashford, what's he actually achieved in his life?
Fuck all.
30 goals in a season. One
NBA to be fair.
OBE.
That's it.
And
Yeah,
I think
or
whatever,
whatever.
10 or 12 was the best. And then it's feeding children, putting his name to a book that was written. We won't say he wrote the books, like some people do. It's done. And I'm all for any manager saying that. But what has he also said? Basically, in a different way, stop asking me about Rashford. He is not playing until he works harder.
Yeah.
Because I'm fed up watching press conferences and having that question asked. The whole Rangers thing was nothing about the whole press conference. Nothing about Rangers. Nothing about United.
Yeah.
So
it's
that's my rant over.
Sorry,
guys, just don't get me off.
Yeah, that was Mark's weekly rant on Marcus Rashford. You can see all the other installments from the last few episodes.
It's wasted talent. That's
it
what
is a wasted talent.
The guy is so talented, and my granddad raised me on the, about the, what happens when talent doesn't work hard. That whole saying, and he's right. We've had that so many times. There's a list of players at Man United, unfortunately, that have been world beaters, but just have not worked hard.
Yeah, and it's a shame it comes down to it and ends like this.
Yeah, it is.
We should talk about the Bucharest game a little bit. Like we've said, we are pretty much, not mathematically, but it's pretty much there or thereabouts guaranteed. But what are we expecting from that? We've already sort of said potentially maybe the opportunity to put Mainu and Collier on together. Who are we starting up front? Are we giving Hoyland another chance, or are we going for Xerxes? Jay, what do you reckon?
It's got to be. You know what? I do like when Xerxes comes on as a sub. I will be honest. I do. I feel like a bit of. He can change the game with 20 minutes or 25 minutes. Whereas if Xerxes starts and Hoyland comes on, I don't feel like he could make the difference. Whereas Xerxes is very slick and skilly. He can sort of tap it past someone and just lay it off, sort of thing. So yeah, I would like to see him come on as a sub, but I do think he'll probably start.
Yeah. Stu, what do you reckon?
I think he's probably going to go as close to what he played Sunday, Thursday, and he'll expect those to probably take the pitch again on Sunday. I think he's going to try and look for that consistency.
So it'll probably be the only change I could imagine will be goalkeeper again.
So I think starts and Bayadere maybe comes in. I think that's probably going to be the only change, I would say. I think he's going to play as close to that team as possible. Because I think although we need the points, I think he'll go for the win. They're not particularly great, are they, Bucharest? I don't think they're having a great results. I don't know where they are in the league, but they've not had great results, have they?
Let's have a look. They are 8th at the minute.
Well, they lost 4-0 to Rangers.
Yeah.
So, but they've beaten pretty much. We've had very similar matches in Europa. I just had a look. So they've been quite similar, but they've come away with. It's hard to pronounce some of these teams, but
exactly.
Midtjylland or however you pronounce it, they beat them 2-0, and we struggled against some teams that we shouldn't. So, starting lineup, I actually think he'll change it quite a bit.
Go on.
Because he didn't change much from Thursday night to Sunday, and he's on about rotation. It came up in his post-match. So Bayern Deer in goal for me. I think Euro starts.
Yeah.
I would say De Ligt or Maguire plays alongside. He might even bring Malacia in.
I think Malacia starts as
I
well.
think it could be all change. I think it could almost be all change. Maybe not. Ahmad needs a rest because once he was in the pocket, you've got, like we said, he's got to work harder. Take him off. Does Bruno play? Does Casemiro play?
Double.
You know, if you're trying to
I
get
Possibly.
don't
players
think
out, you may
Casemiro. I don't
Yeah,
think
possibly.
Casemiro will start.
Ericsson might come in. Yeah, who knows?
Ericsson in.
I do like Ericsson the last game he played, actually. He really surprised me. He's changed the whole system of how he plays.
Yeah, Ericsson's world-class player. He always has been. I was so happy when we signed him. That goal for Ahmad, the little dink over the top. There's no one else in the team who would have done that.
That was beautiful as well.
So, but yeah, I think it's an easy win if we went with our strongest team, but I don't think we will. I don't know what everyone else thinks.
No,
Yeah.
Stu, what do you reckon?
I think we're beaten 2-0. I think it'll be a comfortable night's work. I think we're way, way, way better than them. And then we go into the final. I don't know who we get paired off. I don't know how it works moving forward. There's a load of play. There's another. The next 8 below us to 16 are playoff, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I don't know how many. So is it 2 that go through
So
the
there's.
playoff?
So then it will be
Eight out of 16, isn't it?
Yeah, so it'd be the final 8.
8 winners, and then we play
I
one of the winners.
I think it's 16 to 24 is the playoffs.
16 to 24 is the playoffs.
Yeah. And then from 24 below is eliminated.
And then
So
the
there's-
top 8 won't play each other. They play one of the
They
playoffs.
play one another. No, okay. So okay. So hopefully, yeah, I think we'll just win 2-0 anyway. We've got a good chance to win the Europa League if we can kind of find that consistency.
Yeah, it's an interesting. The whole concept of the Europa League is quite interesting this year. I mean, all of the Champions League and the Europa League has been quite an interesting with the new way it's being done. I'm not totally convinced I like it, but I don't dislike it. So we'll see how that plays out. But the main thing is that if we go through in the top 8, we've got 2 less games to play in February, which is
exactly
the most important thing.
Which is what we need.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
that's what I like about it for Europa. Europa, it makes sense now. These teams don't drop down from the Champions League. You're in a competition. You know, like most competitions, you play what's in that competition.
Yeah.
Without these better teams dropping down, 9 times out of 10, a Champions League team drops down and makes the final. They might not win it, but they're going to be well within a shout. Now we went in. We've got as much chance as anyone else because you basically play 4 good teams, 4 bad teams, the way they drew it.
Yeah.
And the cream rises to the top. That's the way up. But Champions League wise, that's a shambles. Like that doesn't because
City can still make it through to the playoffs, can't they? Somehow.
Yeah, but you could also be eliminated because just the way your games came out and the countries where we have 5 teams and 4 teams or 2 teams, you could play all the best teams the way it could be drawn because you can't play teams from your own. You might have already been drawn against one from somewhere else. You could literally have a bad run of games. You know, I'm not saying that's what's happened to City, but they haven't had it easy. But some of the other teams have. Celtic have made it through.
Yeah,
that's a shock as well.
So
I've been very anti Scottish football this year. I don't mean to be, but I've been very. Very quick before we end, we should probably talk about, obviously, the big news today is expected in the next 24 hours an official announcement, the signing of Patrick Dorgu from Lecce, from Syria. Yeah, here we go. Syria, I think it is, isn't he? From
Lecce.
Made 55 appearances for Lecce, joining from Danish club Nordsjælland in 2022. Capped 4 times by Denmark. I don't know much about him. Left back, wants to join. Personal terms are not expected to be a problem. In the region of around 25 to 30 million. Mark, what do you reckon?
After getting really confused last week, I've got Transfer Market up right now, and they still have him listed as a right winger. So I said, left or right front 3. and we've signed him as a left back, left winger. Where does he play? Does he play everywhere?
wing back.
He plays left or right back, supposedly.
Yeah,
Supposedly. That's
so
where he plays.
hopefully he's got some pace. You know, I'm not one for these. Let's search him up on YouTube, because I'm telling you now, I could be a professional footballer with some of my clips.
I'd look good on YouTube. I'd look good on YouTube, lads.
You look great on YouTube, Stu. That's why we get you on. Get some views.
It's good for Højlund. It's another young Danish player. That you know, that whole thing with him and Eriksen. If Eriksen was to leave, he's got someone from his home, another international to travel with, build a bond with, maybe put the ball in the box how he likes it when he's bombing down the left. But yeah, it's another one. He's not done much. He's young. I'm confused that we signed him and signed this 18-year-old left back from South America.
Yeah, Leon. Yeah.
So we know that we're loaning him back. We can't sign him because of his age but they're basically the same age, so they're going to be fighting for the same place. Yeah. The one I said it earlier about is Evan, which is a left-sided centre back for replacement for Martinez, or compete with Martinez. But Dorku, let's see what he brings in. But it is another Serie A low-level team, which, if we're whinging about Højlund, I'm not. We're whinging about Højlund. We're whinging about Xerxes. It's the same standard of football. Actually, it's a lower standard of football from what they come from. So
yeah, interesting.
I don't know if anyone's looked into it. He has a lot of potential, but what does potential get you in Manchester?
Very true.
Yeah, it's interesting. We should have probably asked Reece Russell to be on, because he's the man to talk to about Serie A football. He is an expert in the field. I'll see if he's looked into it. But yeah, I'm excited by it, I have to say, because it seems like a signing that Ruben actually wanted. A player that he actually is convinced by, so that's got to mean something. And if it's going to work, it's part of what Jim Ratcliffe's or the Ineos regimes is way of doing things: young, exciting, talented young footballers, rather than these big money movers and big deals. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We should very quickly talk about Napoli are set to resume talks with Manchester United over the transfer of Alejandro Garnacho. The two clubs have kept their word to get back in touch at the beginning of the week and to try and find a compromise. Napoli want an agreement in principle with the winger and his representatives, and then rely on their will to lower United's demands. Chelsea, another club following the Argentina international, have not yet shown any official interest, and Garnacho is given priority to Napoli. Jay, the idea of losing Garnacho for me is a bit disappointing, but what are your thoughts?
Mate, he's my favourite player. He's been my favourite player for a while, man. I've got a few shirts upstairs with Garnacho on the back. I've got a mate that supports Chelsea, and he's like quite a good mate of mine as well. And the thought of him going, "Oh, did you see Garnacho score a goal for us the other day?" is just hard. Like, I'd just disown him as a friend, I think. Like, I don't think I could. It's just the thought of him going to Chelsea. The thought of him even going to Napoli is just... I mean, I just want to keep him, man. I really do. Like, I know he's probably not in Almiron's plans, but I just love him so much, man. I think he's a baller. If he can get his consistency sorted out, he is an absolute baller.
Yeah, what do you reckon, Stu?
I'm not really 100% sure, to be honest. I mean, when you look at squad building, you need money, and sometimes you got to pop off your most sellable asset, or what's going to give you the most money to kind of rebuild. I was asked a few weeks ago on a podcast, how long do you think it'd be before Manchester United win a league? And I said, you're looking at 8 years. In my opinion, it's likely to be 8 years, and it will prove it in this January and this summer. So Amorim's going to have at least 2 to 3 years to sort this mess out if he survives. And then when you've got that mess sorted out, you then got to find the consistency. And we just don't have the money. I mean, when the club are writing to the 1958 group saying that 300 million losses aren't sustainable, crikey, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand that. You don't need to be a business brain to understand that. We all know that. So sometimes you got to take pain, and you got to take real pain to grow. And I don't know whether Garnacho would make any real difference to us between now and the end of the season. I think that's the key to what Anthony's looking at. How much of a difference is he going to make? And I don't think he's going to make a huge amount of difference between where we are now and where we will finish the end of the season. However, I kind of understand where Jay's coming from, Mark, yourself, Nate, anyone who really likes Garnacho, I kind of understand that. I try and take myself out of the equation and think what's better for the club. We don't know what's gone on. I mean, I've read that he's knuckled down and he wants to play, under Amorim. And then you read he wants to go to Napoli. I don't know. I don't know what to believe. I think his brother's a problem, same as Rashford's. They're problems. So I don't know. It's a tricky one. But if you're going to balance the books and you're going to earn money from it and make it a more sustainable place to be by selling Rashford and by selling Garnacho, you've got to do it, I'm afraid. But I keep you going dog because he may well come back, pal.
Could I ask a question?
Yeah.
Well, mainly to you, Stu, but obviously to everyone as well. Because obviously you said sometimes you've got to sell your best assets in order to rebuild and stuff like that. So who would you replace Garnacho with? Like who would be in your radar, or who would you think would be in Amorim's radar to replace Garnacho?
I wouldn't replace him directly. I don't think you need a direct replacement. It's a great question, but I don't actually think you need that direct replacement from him. And the reason why I don't think that is because you could pop Ahmad out there, you could pop Bruno out there to run the front three that he wants. That's the only reason. So I don't necessarily need to do a direct replacement. What you could do if you get 60 million and you can use 40 million of that, you can hold that money. And then add that to whatever other budget you've got in the summer or the following summer, and you can then see what assets become available then. So I think that, if they do it and they sell him, you've got to be smart. I think, I mean, I don't know how old you are, Jay, so, that's not my point. But my point is, if you're around when Fergie was in his pomp, he had enough assets. For whatever reason,
of course. The Ronaldos, the Beckhams, of course.
They would do all of that, and then they would. I mean, we went through a stage with Figo when we were getting some real also-ran players in because he couldn't get the right player he wanted.
Of course.
So Amorim's got to. If Garnacho goes, we've got to get the right player, and you're not going to get him now. You might get him in the summer. I doubt it, but you'll probably get him the summer after. And the reason you won't get him this summer is because. And this is our problem, Mark, as you well know. We know that Aït-Nouri would be a better player fit than Dorgu because he's Premier League ready. We know that Matthias Cunha would be perfect for us because he's Premier League ready. We know that. I tell you what, Jared Bowen, just take him as a great example. And these are types of players that we need as a club, and we can't afford them because it's the Premier League tax, and so you've got to find ways, imaginative ways, of being able to get them further down the line. But I think Cunha is going to go in the summer, and we need to be in a position to nab Cunha if we can. And any of these players, look at Villa, Ollie Watkins. He's not the most prolific striker, but he's better than we've got, and that's how
you're going for the other Villa thing.
John Duran.
He's mustard.
Yeah, so it's not. Garnacho to me at this point in time is a victim of circumstance more than anything. Jay, he's a victim of circumstance. So that's all.
I see something as well. just to get your opinion, I don't know whether it's true or not, but apparently a swap deal for Garnacho and who's the striker?
On Kuku.
No, I think it. Yeah, Osman.
Why would you take a striker when you've got no one to pass him the ball?
Yeah, I don't
Well,
think
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I don't think Osman is the right fit for us. Great goal scorer. The right fit for us, by the way, as we all know, would have been Harry Kane before he went off to Munich. You know, we all know that. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to work that out. We all know Harry Kane would be brilliant in our system. People that say Gyökeres is going to be the one for us in the summer. He's unproven in the Premier League.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's great in the Championship.
Yeah, he didn't cut it at Brighton. Didn't really cut it at Coventry, as Mark has alluded to. But, hey, credit where credit's due. He's gone and developed a career in Portugal. But coming back to the Premier League, if you've not been there before, it's a big ask. So the Dorgu thing, I think we should maybe get behind. And he looks okay, but like I say, 20 minutes on YouTube is neither in or there for anyone.
Well, of course.
So that's the only reason I would, Jay. I like that your favourite player. It's always hard when a favourite player goes, but at the end of the day, pal, we've given him a platform, and he's not quite there where we need him to be right now. And if you can get 60 million for somebody who's not quite there just yet, I think you take it, pal.
Yeah,
I look. I would have sold, and by the way, Mark and fucking help Nath know this. I said in the summer I'd have kicked Bruno out and sold him and taken 100 mil.
Me too.
I would have agreed with you.
Coming in on the Garnacho thing, I was pretty much said exactly what Stu said last week, didn't I, Nath? Like, if that's the money we can get in, we have to take it. We're in no position to turn our nose up at it. Garnacho is not going to be sold to Chelsea.
No, exactly. Yeah,
if we sell him to Chelsea, forget about what was said to Jim Ratcliffe after the game at the weekend. It will be a million times worse. Like, apart from the joke about the fact he will come in and replace Sancho, which they have to buy as well, that I would find hilarious. But if we sell him to Napoli, who is Napoli's most famous player?
Sir Diego, of course. The man who's
so you've got an Argentinian looking at going to where Maradona was. And if Tomine can look world class in that team, what is Garnacho going to do?
To be honest,
I'll give you
I'll
that.
tell you what, Jay. There's a good link, by the way, that Mark. To be honest, he's probably thinking to himself, I'll just pop over to Italy, get myself a league, because they're going to win the league. I'll have a nice little championship winners medal. And I'll get paid well. And he'll play. He won't play at Chelsea. You've got Pedro Neto on the bench at Chelsea in a minute.
It's more like in the Argentina side as well, because he'll be playing games, winning.
Correct.
Therefore, your national team's going to pick winners.
But
Neto
on the bench is criminal.
I think we've already replaced him. You hit the nail on the head. He is a left attacker. I won't say winger.
That's his best work. Yeah.
If we're trying we've signed 2 left backs this transfer window, or left-sided players that fit a midfield 4, 3-4. So they're going to go on the left. That's the only reason you would have signed them, because you're not going to sign an out-and-out left back when you're looking at you're signing a player's fit formation. Can Garnacho play the 10? Right now, no.
No.
If he can, he will be perfect. And I think they can see he has a lot to learn. I feel he has been made a scapegoat for his brother's comments. He obviously, if you've noticed all the certain match leaks have stopped since they said it was Garnacho's brother. That's not proven. We're not here to say that is or isn't a fact, but there's been issues with his brother in the past. Now, if I was the club, if you want to stay here, get your brother out of your life. You can watch any football sort of documentary where they talk about family members. You've only got to look at Paul Pogba right now and what's happened with his brother. It's written in history that family are an issue with top players. The younger the player, the more of an issue. Brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, they strip them of cash. Some players have them behind you, pushing them on. I hear Ramsdale talking about his dad and things like that and what drove him on. and I love that. And that's how I am towards my children. It's about positives and keep pushing them forward. And when they fail, wait, get back up, we go again.
Yeah.
Whereas Rashford, Garnacho, it sounds like families way too involved in decisions.
Yeah,
which means it's not for them, it's for the family.
Yeah.
And that's not good. I would love Musiala. We ain't ever going to get him. Is that not the perfect 10 for us behind with what we've got? That's the kind of player you want. You want fast, dynamic, give and go, 1-2s.
I think Cunha's. I love Musiala, by the way, Mark. I think you're right, but we ain't got a hope of getting him. We haven't. Do you remember years ago, Kimmich? Everybody was Kimmich. He would have been great for us, but I mean, no, he's not. He's not the player, is he, Kimmich anymore? So we're never going to. I just think the most realistic 10 for us at the minute is Cunha. He's fucking wonderful.
But would you take Maddison?
What? Sorry,
Maddison from Tottenham.
Not over Cunha, only because Cunha's more powerful. He's more squat and he's quicker.
I wouldn't say no to Maddison in general, though.
Madison's a good player. Yeah, absolutely. I like
because
Maddison.
You need a carrier and you need a player. Now,
he's in the wrong team, isn't he, Madison? He's in the wrong team.
Yeah,
we'll get him for a bargain because they'll go down anyway.
Yeah, he's in the wrong team. So look, I wouldn't say no to it. But if we couldn't get Cunha, I wouldn't say no to it. No, it's a good chance.
The reason I asked that, we go back to selling our favourite players. Bruno would buy us Cunha and Maddison.
That's very true.
Yes.
And then you've got 2 10s. One runner, one passer, and then the striker, Rasmus, or whoever we bring in, has to do less. Now, you said about Premier League tax, I'm sort of going full circle here.
Yeah.
The best striker we could have bought in the summer went for 25 million to no one.
Yeah.
To a nobody. But if we had bought him, it would have been 50, 60, 70, 80.
Yeah.
But he went for 25. Now that sums up the Premier League and that sums up all of our problems. Arsenal, Man United. The only team that doesn't have a problem with a striker is Man City. Liverpool, they've just turned down a supposed 70 million for Nunes.
I know, I couldn't quite believe that. And look what City have paid, 60 million for Mamouche.
But Nunes works his arse off for him.
I know.
He really does. And he's not a striker. He was a left forward.
Yeah, he has a problem in front of goal, doesn't he, Nunes? But,
but he needs to shoot them further out. That's quite clear. So a chance to come back down. But it's transfers are the be-all and end-all of every club. No club gets them right. You get about 1 in 5.
Well, speaking of clubs that don't get them right, we've just shipped Anthony after Real Betis on loan, so that's another example. He'll do a job there and come back and do fuck all here. That's the problem.
He'll be all right there.
The only
we'll probably get a sale on the
and done well was obviously Martial. Everyone else has done all right in Spain.
Yeah.
It's an easy league to play in. It's slower. They don't really tackle that much unless you're in central midfield or playing Atletico. Otherwise, it's time on the ball. You get to do your tricks. You get to beat a player. It's an easy league. And going back to what you said earlier about Gyökeres, Championship and Portuguese League, are we saying they are the same level?
Yeah.
Because he's not Premier League proven. He didn't cut it at Brighton, but he can bang goals in Portugal. You come up levels, but you don't jump massive levels.
I think that's an excellent point to end on there, mate. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, we're going to end it there, guys. We've got shows coming out this week. Jay, have you got something to say before we go? You look like you wanted to say something, sorry.
No, I just said 100%. I was going to say, I do rate the Championship as one of the best leagues in the world.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, keep an eye out on the channel, guys. We've got shows coming up this week. We'll probably do another talk of the league either later on in the week or we'll have it at the weekend. And there's a good chance we'll do a Red Devils roundup Sunday evening as well. Stu, where can we find you, mate? Have you got any more shows this week or are you taking it easy now?
Well, no, that's it. Probably Thursday, me and Jarvis are back on Tactical Devils. which, by the way, any of you guys are welcome to join us on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good watch.
We'll do a post match on Tactical Devils, and then probably Sunday, and then that'll be it, I think.
Yeah, Mark, you got a Twitter account people can abuse you at?
Yeah, it's Mark Langridge 7 on Twitter. Keep it as simple as you can get. Yeah, send me any abuse, anything that you don't agree with. I would like to hear back on, what people think about certain things like the Garnacho and why players would leave. Because I think we're the most honest out here, in the podcast, and we're actually giving honest opinions rather than, just repeating what other channels have said or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no agendas, no just good old-fashioned honest opinion and debate. That's all you get on this channel. And Jay, have you got a Twitter account that people can abuse you at, or are you just here for the abuse?
No, I don't have a Twitter. No, I'm more TikTok. If I'm honest, I go TikTok lives and stuff and talk about football, and we do football quizzes. I'm an impressionist, so I do impressions. I beatbox as well. It's just to make someone laugh and stuff. But I am on TikTok. If anyone wants to follow, it's Professor James 23.
Very nice indeed. And yeah, I'm at Nate Delves on Twitter. You're more than welcome to come and abuse me there if you like, but you can come and abuse me here every week if you wish. But yeah, if you've enjoyed it, guys, please like and subscribe. Give the channel a follow. And yeah, like I say, if you want to join the channel, want to get your opinions heard, absolutely. Fans of any clubs are welcome. Get involved, slide into our DMs, and we will get you hooked up and ready to join us. But for now, guys, everyone have a good evening and enjoy your week.
Take care.